You are now watching The Meech.
Mario 64 is often claimed to be one of the greatest games of all time. Even more often, it's claimed to be the best Mario game. But honestly, I don't understand what all the Mario 64 hype is about. It's a very old game, and we've gotten far more impressive games since then. You can't tell me Mario 64 is better than something modern like New Super Mario Bros. U, but you know what? Mario 64 deserves another chance. There has to be a reason why it's often hailed as one of the greatest video games ever made. When I'm not playing Kablooey on Nintendo Switch Online, I'm doing literally anything else. But unlike the wonderfully crafted, amazing new game This Is a New Mario Kart No One Owned a Wii U Kablooey, Mario 64 is yet to be re-released. Getting the original hardware proved to be quite challenging, so I decided to go with the next best option. Many have wondered why we haven't gotten a 64 Mini. I don't know what they're talking about, because here it is. This is a mini console, meaning that it's more plastic that takes up space. It also will not accept cartridges. There are few built-in games, but in order to play Mario 64, I did the ethical thing and put it on a USB. So the question is, has Mario 64 stood the test of time, or has it aged as well as Donatello Versace? Starting up the game, you're greeted to the iconic title screen Mario 64 is known for. It's no wonder the title screen is so memorable, because it's really bizarre. This released during a time where Mario didn't have a final design, but this Mario screams, "Hi, I'm Mario, and I'm here to unclog your toilet." Mario at least somewhat resembles himself here, but the enemies had me wondering, have the developers even played Mario games before? The Koopa looks like a jackfruit, and the Sidestepper looks like a lobster spider hybrid, but that's part of what makes Mario 64's title screen so memorable. The best thing about it, though, is the unbelievably good music. Have a listen. Who would have thought that a Mozart rendition would hit this hard in 2022? I did, because modern music is trash anyway. The game itself is a port of the original Mario Bros. This is before they were Super, and also before Nintendo had a console of their own in the West. Yes, Nintendo games used to be multi-platform. Mario 64 is developed by Ocean, once Europe's dominant game developer. They're best known for creating the best movie-based game on the Virtual Boy, Waterworld. Mario 64 is what you'd expect Mario Bros. To be like gameplay-wise. You jump, flip over enemies, and knock them out. I know when I end up in the bathroom at 4 AM, the last thing I'd want is a giant turtle jumping out of the toilet. Talk about overdramatic. But what isn't overdramatic change is the way the controls work. In Mario Bros., or frankly any platformer I've played, you move in sync with the joystick or the D-pad. Let's say you want Mario to go to the left, you'll need to hold on to left on the controller. When you let go, Mario will stop moving. But here, Mario will walk automatically, even if you let go of the joystick. To make matters worse, he has two running speeds. You move once to walk, but if you continue holding the joystick in one direction, Mario will run. To stop, you need to move the joystick again. I know what you're thinking. How could they mess up the controls for Mario Bros? Ask Nintendo. They didn't get it right until the Game Boy Advance. The controls are very awkward and it's difficult to get used to them. But eventually, you will get used to them. What happens when you do? You'll get Mario Bros. Mixed with Coke. The game is much faster than the original. You'll never have a break between enemies jumping out the pipes, and I'm all for a good challenge, but this is just ridiculous. Combined with the awkward controls, the entire game is essentially a worse version of Mario Bros. But going back to the amazing intro, let's see how the presentation is held up. Mario Bros. Was the first Mario game to have the sprites resemble the artwork. I don't know why Nintendo is so insistent on shoving the Super Mario Bros. Sprite in our face, when the Mario Bros. Sprite is so much better. But what about Mario 64? Mario and Luigi have much more realistic proportions. They look like true blue-collar workers. The shell creepers look alright. I do find it interesting that they turn into dry bones when they become faster. This was half a decade before dry bones was even a thing. The fighter flies look alright too. But if there's one thing that this game can't get right, it's the Sidestepper design. Have the developers ever even seen a crab before? The design is so bad that it legitimately looks like a spider or a demented sun. Mario 64 only has one stage, but the appearance changes. This is the one thing that Ocean got right. The order isn't consistent, but they resemble the stages that they're based on. The sound design proved to be stellar with the intro, and the same would apply to most of the sound effects. There's a certain charm to 80s games having sound effects that make a huge deal out of the most trivial things, but if there's one sound effect that's annoying, it's the walking sound. I don't know why there was ever a need to have sound effects for walking in games like this. The presentation consists of a more abstract take on Mario Brothers, but the sound design is pretty good. My plan was to spend the rest of the retrospective screaming about the ice climbers, but as it turns out, Mario 64 has a sequel. Released in 1987, it wasn't officially licensed by Nintendo, but in 1987, Kotaku didn't exist only to tattletale on passionate fan creations. Anyways, Mario 64 2 starts off with an even more bizarre title screen. Mario doesn't have a mustache. Regardless of how inconsistent the early Mario designs were, he always had a mustache, and the chef looks more like a detective than an actual chef. But despite all of this, my main question is, what the heck is even going on here? It looks like Mario is working in a TV remote factory. Maybe the game will provide context. Well, that's weird. Mario has a mustache in the game. Maybe he's like Dennis from SpongeBob. You play as Mario and Luigi lifting crates onto a conveyor belt. If they fall over, you lose a life. It's a very simple concept, but it's still fun. Wait a minute. You think that's bad? Remember the time? Yep, Game & Watch. This is actually a remake of the Mario Bros. Game & Watch game. What's interesting is that Mario Bros. On the Game & Watch released a few months before the arcade game, marking the first appearance of Luigi. Honestly, I'd rather just play the remake in the Game & Watch Gallery games. So far we've established Mario 64 has some cool stuff going for it presentation-wise, but the gameplay is just a worse version of Mario Bros. Mario 64 2 is better, but it's very simplistic. So what's the verdict? I'm sure many grew up playing Mario 64, but honestly, how on earth can anyone consider this to be one of the best Mario games, let alone games ever? It had a purpose in the 80s where computers existed to play games like this instead of browse through Twitter, but it's antiquated now. Really, the only good things are the intro and the artwork. Mario 64 is trash. Mario 64 2, on the other hand, isn't trash, but it's not a hidden gem. It gets a ranking of bronze. Before we wrap this up, it's time for a bonus feature. Yesterday was March 31st, the last day to get Super Mario 3D All-Stars, because when I think of a celebration, I think about inconveniencing consumers. This collection has 3 games, and oddly enough, a game called Super Mario 64 is one of them. Let's check it out and see if it's better than the original Mario 64. Okay, this game is way more exciting. It's a 3D platformer that has decent controls, and the characters resemble the artwork far more here. Here's what I don't understand. Why is Mario 64 considered to be one of the best games ever made, when Super Mario 64 is better in ever— Oh my goodness. I think I just made a critical error going into this retrospective. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
April Fools!